How is up, everyone? It's your boy, Homeless Bernadetta! I'm homeless because I'm too tired to work. I actually took off Monday because I'm starting to get burned out. Now, today, we're going to have a little discussion on Thrasir and the Mythic banner that she comes in. A little late, I know. It's been like a couple of days since she was announced, but I'm tired and I've just recently recovered from a 2 weeks break from all the work I've been dealing with. I'll have to get back to Three Houses soon, I swear. So anyway, this afternoon I was just sitting there, chilling and thinking to myself, what should I do here? I mean, this banner's coming out tomorrow. Should I summon or should I not? Of course, I then fell asleep after doing some rocker sieges featuring Claude. So my initial thought process at the time was, do I really need yet another green tome? I mean, sure, yeah, she's probably fast. It's hard, can launch Desperation easily with a stats debuff. But player-face Desperation Tome is nothing new no matter how much extra stats you suck from your friends or debuff your enemies with. I mean, alright, look at Leywin for example. He does this thing too, and he still has his B slot open for a special Spiral, doing more damage. Or hey, the Dark Emperor Nino, easily affordable, still does tons of damage. I mean, with that Blade Tome and Vantage and the strength to sucker punch people to death, focusing her attack into a nasty 24 attack rather than just a couple spread out attack, speed and dev and res, etc, etc. And on top of this, as a mythic unit, she is a giver, not a receiver. You don't receive best blessings, and the only thing you can give is defense. Defense stuck to one mode. Yeah, lots of use that'll be. I mean, this is the same problem I have with Sotha as much as I love her. I wish that they at least, just stick with the whole legendary thing, rather than this whole new thing for this new mode that, honestly, isn't something that I really care much about, because you can only do Aether Raids so many times in a row in a week before you get sick and tired of it. Still, well, defense is still cool. I still like watching people, but at least I don't have to put in any efforts for that. But I digress. I know, I must sound pretty terrible talking shit about Thrasir like she doesn't matter at all. But in truth, I actually think that she is a horrible monster and can be played in the most amusing way. So first, let's go over her stats compared to her rivals. Now, Thrasir, compared to Nino, she has 7 more HP, same attack, 3 more speed, 4 more dev, 1 more res. Okay, more bulkier, a little bit speedier, but in all honesty, as an offensive mage, doesn't matter all that much. As for Leywin, okay, 3 more HP, 1 less attack, 2 more speed, 6 more defense, and 2 more reds. But like I said earlier, offensively, the mages, they don't seem to differ all that much in terms of offensive capabilities. Raw stats, that is. Very true. And as a mage, you oftentimes just look at their attack and their speed and then pretend the other stats don't even exist. But what if you were to think of Thrasir as more than just a mage? Now, if you were to take her defensive stats into account, after Eye Finger activates, she sits at 27 dev, 31 reds. She goes from 162 BST to 178 BST. That's not too shabby considering that this awful person actually prevents enemy follow-up attacks. That's pretty disgusting. She's fast as hell. But okay, what if Bolt Fighter comes along? Nah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work on her. Just say no with her semi-null follow-up. And best part about it all is that she's an infantry mage, so you can't be all like, oh, here's some armor smasher, or here's Naga, because currently infantry has no weaknesses outside of Poison Dagger. And good luck finding someone using that in this day of age. So, as for the finger itself, I don't consider Eye Finger's debuff to be a drawback whatsoever, considering that only a guy from a mile away, okay, 3 spaces, would actually get affected by it. Though I suppose you could also abuse that by, quote abuse, by pairing her up with a Dune, but I don't really like that strategy, given that Thrasir has to fight to get that debuff, and that Idun is fat and slow, and she'll have a hard time catching up to Thrasir, let alone following it with Thrasir's attacks. So, as aforementioned, due to the way her Eye Finger works, I think that you'd like to be somewhat close to your allies, though 3 spaces is practically most of the map. You could instead opt to stay within 2 range and pair off with something like Marth or Corrin, both with infantry rush or something like that, and receive some significant strength. She could tank attacks from distance, and then strike out from still within her eye finger range, and then gets pulled back by her support or something like that, or she could just remain there and tank all day. So that said, inversely, she could bring her supports into a more offensive position, knock someone out quickly, and then spread panic among the ranks with that panic smoke and go into the tanking position against weakened enemies. A sword and shield tactic. I mean, Eye Finger and Killing Instinct, they both work in both phases. The only thing that doesn't work is Desperation. Big deal, you can kill someone and then go tanking with it. But, speaking of panic smoke, I actually prefer pole smoke for something like that. I know everyone's been up in arms about, panic smoke, so scary, but I think, in my opinion, it's kind of iffy. Think about it for a second, okay? Considering that we have Aversa and could build strong, spooky mansion, applying panic has never really been that much of a problem. Because the problem with panic is that, in its most fundamental uses, if your opponent were to use in-combat buffs, then it doesn't even matter at all. It might as well not even exist outside of providing debuffs for spooky Veronica's killing intent. On the other hand, if you were to use pole smoke or dishing out guard for the enemy team on top of doing stupid things, on stopping stupid things like infantry pulse teams, like featuring Ophelia or even Tibarn. Now, like Tibarn, think about him. Old boy not only can't double her, but even if he somehow gets Gale Force, he'd just lose it right after the battle. It's disgusting. Pole smoke is, in my opinion, the most superior smoke out of them all. Therefore, in my assessment of Thrasir, I actually think that she could still perform quite nicely as a tank, provided that she has a team built around her. Stopping guaranteed follow-up is just a disgusting thing. And if you were to fill her to the brim with buffs from her allies, you'll find that she's more than capable of holding ground. So therefore, I think that close counter is not a bad choice for the likes of her. Now, of course, if you're looking for just a beat stick, well, she's fine right out of the box. A lot of units these days are fine out of the box. It's kind of disgusting. I mean, it makes sense. It sells them easier, makes them easier to figure out and all that junk. But honestly, although I like the idea that each and every other units are the same instead of like a mumble jumble of stats, I think that, in a way, pref weapons and such locks a character too much into a specific role. Luckily for us, that's not the case with Thrasir, but for some different characters like Alm, Legendary Alm, for example, his abilities are all for player phase, so you can only play him as a player phase character. If only he wasn't, I would use Vantage on him. Vantage that kills tanks? That's disgusting. But anyway, that's just some pipe dream right now. As like I was getting into it, I think that it's better just... I think it's better if units are more flexible. Sure, you could think about, then everybody's the same, you're just looking at their stats. No, that's not the case, because there's so many different unique inheritable stuff that you can actually put up a interesting combination without the need for locking yourself into a specific role. Luckily for us, like I said, you could use close counter, you could turn her into a tank. Turning her into 178 BST tank is a pretty scary thing. But anyway, in terms of Aether Raids though, I think she pairs well enough with Duma, but I think that, well, I don't know, I think that gay clown Kranya and the 6 Paths of Pain Plus might have an even better time with the big man, dishing out tons of damage and just killing them outright. Yeah, she can kill people too, 1, 2, 3, but if she doesn't have Vantage and she gets attacked back, she better hope that she has enough defenses to keep herself intact. But anyway, that's the whole point of Eye Finger. It keeps her alive. I think that the 3 range is useful for attacking, but you should at least get someone to get into 2 range with some buffs to keep her tanking. You can just, even without close counter or something like that, you can tank an attack and you'll be fine. Just try not to tank too many attacks, in which case you may have to consider using close counter with smoke after all. But anyway, enough about that. So, she's a good unit. Should I summon for her? I don't know, probably not. I mean, I like her techniques, but as I said before, they're uniquely tied to her, so in which case, I would have to merge her. Meanwhile, Panic Smoke, well, as I said, it does have some application, I guess, but only if healers can get it. I mean, look, okay, I have a plus 10 Nino. I mean, despite the fact that we have 3 generations past, I can't imagine myself ditching her anytime soon, and healers can't get Panic Smoke, so, you know, these ideas just don't work together. Now, if Thrasir was a colorless tome, or staff, oh my god, staff would have been great. You know, Omnicidal Witch and all, you know, Omnicidal, Omni, should have been including red as well. Then we'd have something nice going on here, because as it is right now, communist red units, the Soviet Union, are still going to throw wrenches into our plans. If I want a tank or a damage dealer, honestly, I want a colorless one. That way, the only thing that'll give me trouble are those Raven TA nonsense that you see like every 100 battles or so. Seriously, you don't see all that much. They don't come out all that much. Of course, I mean, alright. Even a color is negotiable if she were to come with something stupid like dancing smoke instead. A smoke that prevents dancers from dancing. Now that's something I'm looking for and would probably tirelessly summon. As it is right now though, things are still in the air. Now okay, alright, so why don't we look at the rest of the banner before we actually decide. So the first full so the full lineup of this banner is like this. Sorry, I lost my word for a second there. Red, we have legendary Eureka, legendary Herod, legendary Eliwood. Don't care for the first two. They're cavalry, they do their work, that's great. I don't really care. I can just simply get a 3-star Eliwood, power him up, give him a new pref weapon, and he'll probably easily outperform those two. I'm serious, a 3-star. A 3-star can now get that stupid pref weapon. So, you know, I don't need those two anymore. And I mean, as for the last one, the legendary Eliwood, I already have one copy of him. I don't want to merge him because he doesn't play well with Winter Eureka, who ends up buffing him instead because his attack is actually rather high. So if you don't have him already, or if you actually prefer that he being able to defend himself a bit better at the risk of sacrificing certain techniques, then yeah, I mean, he's definitely one to get. But the other two, iffy. Especially ever since the first that pref upgrade that Brave Roy just got, that transfers to Eliwood. Yeah, I don't know anymore. As for blue, legendary Ephraim, Valentine, Soren, Kidgel. I don't even know how to pronounce her name properly. All those guys, they don't provide much for me. Especially K-Gel. K-Gel has a Barrier Lance, but we already have Berkwood for that. So the only thing we're really getting from her is Bold Fighter. Oh, and a stupid AR skill. Ooh, whoop-de-doo, right? As for green, Thrasir we just discussed. Spring Veronica is basically a mini Thrasir with her 4-to-all stats nonsense without the need of sacrificing an ally stats. That's great, but she has teeny tiny 151 BST. I think that it's a joke that they put the two together. Meanwhile, Yun is always welcome. Yune gives 5 HP and 4 speed, which is a huge upgrade. If you make half the team Yunes, then you have 12 speed, 12 fucking speed for 3 units. So catch me if you can, because if there's any reason to invest, it's for something like that. For me, Thrasir is just a bonus for getting Yun. As for Colorless, for me, Ia I need to resummon because I kind of sacrificed my only free-to-play year because I wanted to try out a stupid build about a month ago. I end up getting some really good results from it, and we'll probably make a video about it soon. But right now, I might summon her again because her B skill has interesting applications and I want to pass on to other units. And I mean, I still kind of do want to finish my story mode with Diaskirs. But otherwise, I don't care about Aether Raids, so Ear has no applications to me. I don't give a crap. I don't care about climbing any higher. But, I mean, I don't know, if I don't pull on her, pull her or don't plan on summoning on this banner, I might as well just call on Fjorm or something and just call it a day. I mean, Fjorm is still part of the story, right? Still part of the S group, yeah. I mean, I see her pop up all the time in stupid forging bonds, so I mean, she's still cool. She hasn't died from, like, syphilis or something like that. She's fine. She's okay. But as for Picnic Nino, in terms of Colorless, I have no use for her. I already have Sheep Nino, and she's doing her job just fine. Her staff is fine for a healer, being an actual healer who stays within a range of a tank. But as we all know, my healers, they don't act like normal healers. Still, I guess she could pair well with the tank Thrasir that we just talked about, especially if you were to sacrifice her to an infantry one with infantry rush or something. Dev opening, on the other hand, though, that's just a sick joke. Finally, Stomach Ache Girl Corin has exactly one use for me. Now, she's a fine stat stick of a unit, but in today's climate, we might as well just forget about her. Forget about her, because Dragon Weaknesses is now on full blast. What she does have, though, is Sudden Panic. There's a very specific infantry dancer who is chubby as hell and could use this skill at its finest. Ninian, when I look at her, and how chubby her well-shaped body is, I suddenly realize why Eliwood needed to plug her repeatedly. But anyway, Sudden Panic is not for combatants, but dancers don't care much about that. My only worry is that it interferes with her using Wings of Mercy or Wings of No Mercy or something like that. But if you have ground order support, though, that also isn't an issue. So all in all, I have huge reservations for this banner. Not only are the units kind of iffy, but I think that in about a week or so, Brave Ike and Brave Lucinos are going to come back in a 4% banners for themselves. And we all know how strong those two are after the recent pref upgrades. Now, I have my eye set on that banner, so I might as well just, I don't know, skip on this one. I've thought about it and meditated for some time about this, and I think that might just be the conclusion I come up with. Honestly, the only reason I would summon is for Stomach Ache Girl and Ear. I'll be perfectly honest. Even Yoon, I already have 2 of, so summoning her is a kind of, do if I do if I don't kind of thing. You know, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, you know, besides all this, Thrasir is just a horrible character. I have no attachments to her. She shows up early with Lift, right? Gets her ass kicked. And just recently, for good. Not before a completely horrendous reveal of, oh yeah, who she actually is, as if we don't know, and that's the end of her. Well, how do you know? That's no Veronica, boy. No Veronica. The Veronica I know never smiles, and is flat like a board so that I can iron my shirt on. Honestly, it might have been better if she was who she actually claimed to be. That way, when she did nothing for the story, at least we hardly know ye. We hardly knew ye. But anyway, that's about it for my crazy rambling of the day. I might change my mind to summon, but I don't know. I might just wait for Stomach Ache Girl to come on with some other banner. I'm sure she'll come back, and then I'll just get her then for Sudden Panic. But even then, Panic is kind of iffy, so I might not even do that. But that's about it. I thank you all for watching. Until